All right, let's dive right in. We're talking about one of the biggest shifts happening in technology right now, human AI collaboration. And I want you to forget the idea of AI as just some simple tool. We are talking about a genuine creative partner. So, what does that actually mean? Let's get into it. So, this is really the central question, isn't it? For so long, we've thought of AI as either a tool, kind of like a fancy calculator, or maybe even a rival, something that's coming for our jobs. But there's a new way of looking at this, and it's all about partnership. And this idea of a partnership, well, it's a total game changer. So let's dig into what this new creative dynamic really looks and feels like. At the very heart of this partnership is something called the iterative loop. This isn't about you giving a one-time command and getting an answer. No, no. Think of it more like a back and forth conversation. You make a suggestion, the AI builds on it. You tweak it, the AI refines it. It's this living, breathing cycle where the AI is constantly learning from you in real time. Yeah, here's the best way to think about it. You're not just punching numbers into a calculator. It's like you're in a brainstorming session with a really brilliant partner. You bring the vision, the context, the human spark, and your AI partner helps you explore avenues and build on those ideas way faster than you could alone. Okay, so if this is a team, who's playing what position? For any good partnership to work, you gotta have a clear playbook, right? We need to know who does what. And the roles are actually pretty clear and complementary. We, the humans, we're the coach. We provide the big picture strategy, the real world context that AI just doesn't have. And we steer the creativity to make sure it's actually relevant. Meanwhile, the AI is like our star player on the field. It's doing the heavy lifting, recognizing patterns across huge data sets, generating data-driven insights, and just rapidly iterating and refining our ideas. It's a perfect match. Now, this all sounds great in theory, but does it really hold up in the real world? Well, a really fascinating Harvard study decided to put this exact question to the test. So here's what they did. Researchers at Harvard Business School set up a challenge. Come up with some new, sustainable business ideas. They split people into two groups. The first was the human crowd, just people brainstorming the old-fashioned way. The second was the human AI team, where people worked together with an AI to co-create their ideas. So what happened? The results were pretty wild. Now, the all-human group did come up with slightly more novel ideas, which is interesting. But the human AI team's ideas were rated way higher on overall quality. We're talking about things that actually matter for a business: strategic viability, environmental value, financial potential. In other words, their ideas were just better. They were more likely to actually succeed. And you don't have to take my word for it. The researchers themselves put it pretty bluntly. They said that when you look at the whole picture, the human AI solutions were just superior in quality. This wasn't a close call. It was a clear win for collaboration. But you know what? As big as that quality gap was, it wasn't even the most shocking part of the study. The truly mind-blowing result was the difference in efficiency. Get this, the human AI team came up with their higher quality ideas in just 5.5 hours, and it cost them about $27. Just let that sink in for a second. Because the traditional human-only crowd, it took them over 2,500 hours and cost more than $2,500. That is a 99% reduction in both time and cost for the team that used AI. That's not just an improvement, that's a revolution. Absolutely incredible. So, does this mean the human AI team is always the answer? A guaranteed slam dunk every time? Well, it's actually a little more nuanced than that. To really get it right, we have to find that sweet spot, you know? We need to understand when this collaboration truly sings. And this is where research from MIT adds a really important piece to the puzzle. They looked at over 100 different studies and found that, on average, just smashing a human and an AI together doesn't automatically create the best result. Sometimes the human is better alone, and sometimes the AI is. So what's the secret sauce? Well, according to MIT's Thomas Malone, it's pretty simple. The combination works best when each one is doing what they do better than the other. It's all about playing to your strengths. It's about creating synergy, not just adding another cook to the kitchen. And this data makes it super clear. Look at detecting fake reviews. The AI alone is the clear winner at 73% accuracy. Adding a human to the mix actually dragged the score down. But then look at classifying bird images, a task that requires real expertise. The human and AI working together hit 90% accuracy, crushing what either could do on their own. And that right there is the key takeaway. The real magic happens when a human who is already good at something partners with an AI. See, the expert knows when to trust their own gut and when to lean on the AI's power. It's not a crutch for someone who doesn't know what they're doing, it's a jetpack for the expert. Okay, so when we put all of this together, what does the future actually look like? Well, it looks like collaboration. And this isn't some far-off sci-fi idea, it's already happening in some really powerful ways. I mean, just look at some of these examples from a prompt library for educators. These are not simple, easy tasks. We're talking about complex, creative, strategic work. Designing cheating-proof exams, creating role-playing scenarios for conflict resolution, developing entire fundraising strategies. This is the human AI playbook in action, right now, solving really important problems. And all of this leaves us with one final, massive thought. The game has totally changed. We're past the point of seeing AI as just a tool. We now have a partner, one that's powerful, incredibly efficient, and creative in ways we're just beginning to understand. So the only real question left is, what new, amazing, world-changing problems are we going to solve together?